Greetings, GameCola faithful. This is the GameCola Podcast, podcast number 56. With me today are Paul Franzen and Michael Gray. Everyone introduce yourselves.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, I am Paul Franzen, and wait.
No. I'm going first. He said my name first. I get to go first.
No, that's why I introduced myself as Paul
You're
Franzen.
not Paul Franzen. Don't do that.
Okay.
I hate this show. Podcast is stupid.
This podcast is over.
Mm-hmm.
Bye, everybody.
Okay, I'm about to introduce myself, okay?
Okay, Paul, introduce yourself.
I'm Paul Franzen, GameCola's editor-in-chief.
And I'm Michael Gray. I write for GameCola.
And I'm Jeddy. I'm the podcast commander. We're here to talk about video games.
We certainly are. Does anybody have a video game in particular they would like to talk about?
There is only one video game now.
There's only one video game, and that is called My Little Pony, right?
No, that's not true. It is called Curiosity, What's Inside the Cube. It is the only game that has ever been, will ever been. It's the only game that is necessary.
Okay, question. Do you have to link up that game to your Facebook account?
You do not. In fact, you shouldn't, because last time I did that, I lost 100,000 coins.
Okay, well, I couldn't figure out a way to start the game without linking it to Facebook.
Oh, maybe they
I'm
require
playing
it.
the game wrong. What does the gameplay actually look like? Describe it for.
I would love to describe the
never
gameplay. Okay, so you start the game right on your iDevice or your Android device, and there's a giant cube in front of you, right?
Okay, I didn't get that far.
Okay,
So-
well there should be a cube. There should be a
Okay.
cube. You poke on the cube, and it zooms in, and there's little cubes everywhere, and you poke them, and you destroy them, and that's the game.
How much does this wonderful game cost?
$0 right now.
Wow.
Yeah, it is being called a social experiment. It's developed by Peter Molyneux and his new company 22 Cans. Peter Molyneux being the person who has been disappointing us with Fable games for the last 10 years.
So wait. Is it
An experiment? Oh, yeah.
Is it 22 cans, or is it 22 cans? Like Toucan Sam?
It's 22. There are 22 cans.
Okay.
There are 22 of
It's not like there are 22 cans.
No,
Yeah, I was a little bit confused myself.
sorry.
You know.
So there's a cube.
So
right?
the
There's a
game
cube.
has nothing to do with toucans, right?
No,
'Cause
toucan.
that would
Well,
be an awesome
maybe
game.
one of the layers of the cube is a toucan. We haven't got that part yet. So there's a cube, right? And you're poking it, and you're trying to strip away each layer of the cube, working
This sounds-
together
I'm sorry.
with
You're
hundreds of
poking it and
thousands of people
stripping
all
it?
over the world.
I'm sorry.
So try and you're poking at the cubes, the little cubes, until you get to the center of the big cube, and at the center, whoever is the person who destroys that last cube, their life is going to be changed forever.
Okay, well, I'm going to try to download it right now because, as I said, it did not work. I will try downloading it live here on the podcast.
I can give you live support if you want. I'm something of an expert in the game. I recorded myself playing it, put it on YouTube, and over 20,000 people have watched it.
I just worry that, like, the person who finally wins is going to be either, like, someone's, like, 3-year-old son who is just, like, mashing on their iPhone and, like, they don't really care, or, like, some Chinese dude who's not going to understand what just happened when they finally get it, and, like, isn't going to...
That's all part of the social experiment, Jeddy.
Is it?
I don't know.
I don't know, like, I'm just concerned that, like, for one reason or another, like, the person who finally gets it, it's, like, doing this great animation that they finally got to the center of the cube, and then their internet goes out, and whoops. Like,
Yeah, from my understanding is the center of the cube is supposed to have a link to a video that you watch. And then that video changes your life forever.
It's a Rickroll, isn't it?
He's already... that hasn't been ruled out. He has already ruled out that it's a giant sack of money, however, which I find a little disappointing.
What about a giant briefcase stuffed with money?
Nope.
I believe that's still a possibility.
Yeah.
Yes! I'm so playing this game now. Okay.
I saw this great post on the AGS forums that I thought had a really good theory, and they said that what's inside the cube is a choice, and you can choose whether to keep all of the money that people have spent on this game for yourself or give it back to them. this money being it's a free to play game, but you can spend money to break more cubes faster.
Yeah.
It's actually it's a terrible video game, and I cannot stop playing it.
Yes, it's been a topic on the GameCola Faithful chat as of late.
I've seen that, yeah. I feel kind of bad because I think I might be responsible for that. Like, really, what I described earlier, the cube and the poking, that's really the entire game. You get coins and you can spend them, but there's really nothing more to the game than that.
People played Count to a Billion.
Did they?
I thought that.
Is that true? People watched the trailer. The trailer was good.
I feel like I should make a game on Xbox Live Indie Games that's just like you mash L and R, and like the more you mash L and R, the more you break bricks or something. I could call it Brick.
Okay, so this game is 26.8 megabytes.
Wait.
Oh, it's loaded.
I could call it Avatar Curiosity Miner.
Ooh. But then you'd have to include avatars.
Yeah. Weren't you saying before you haven't figured out how to do that yet in Xbox Live?
Okay, I know how to put the avatars in. The thing is that I would have to make like custom animations and stuff, which is like
just don't do that. Whatever the preset animations are, just work around it. If like all there is jumping, now it's Avatar Jumpin' Miner on the Curiosity Cube.
Okay, it's installing. Really?
Well, that's the thing is it's like Avatar Idle Animation 1 Miner. Like
so there's no like actual actions?
All of the animations are literally like I wish I could remember where they were.
Can't you do like Avatar Running Cube?
I don't even think there is that much. Hold on, let me...
Oh, surely there's movement.
Paul, the game has finished installing. Do I need to turn up the sound? Does it have sound?
It has sound. It has a very nice ambient soundtrack and a very...
So I need to hold my device close to my microphone.
Satisfying sound effects when you click on the cubes. That's what I was looking for. And yes, you should.
Okay, let's turn all the sound up. Okay, I'm seeing the logo. It says 22 cans.
Yeah, please, if you can, the more detail, the better. Like I said, I can't... I don't know if I said this.
Would like to send you push notifications. Let's allow that.
Okay.
Okay, are you curious? It's saying, are you curious?
No.
But there's no question mark at the end.
I hate that.
Here's the sound.
When people,
I hate that too.
When people post questions on the internet, but they don't have a question mark at the end, I like to just be like, that's a statement.
Have you noticed that Yahoo Answers apparently requires you to put a question mark at the end of your question, so the question will be like, my dog's farting?
Okay, is anything happening here though, Paul? Because it just says, "Are you curious?" Do I need to tap the screen? Well, maybe
try tapping it with your finger.
Okay.
You should really consider an FAQ for this game, I think.
It says something amazing is hidden at the centra of the cube. British spelling there.
Yeah.
It will require the help of the whole world to chip away at its many layers. Okay,
well,
seriously.
This is an epic tale.
No punctuation, no capital letters.
Well, I mean, like you said, it's British.
British people don't use periods at the end of their sentences.
Yeah.
They don't
open up your
besides
British Times style guide sometime.
Okay.
I assume that's their newspaper, the British Times.
But it's the London Times. Thank you. Even I know
that.
Wow,
I was actually close.
Yes, but only one person will find out what's inside.
The Highlander.
One is italicized, and now it says joining.
There we go. This is where the good stuff starts.
Okay, what do I do now? Do I tap the screen again? Wait, hold on a sec.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I know. It's overwhelming.
Experiment. There is an overwhelming demand to join. Please keep trying.
Oh no!
Do I hit retry?
Oh, I guess maybe you should. Maybe we can continue the conversation.
This is the worst game ever, Paul.
You keep trying that, and we'll keep podcasting while in the meantime.
Here, let me tell you. Okay, Avatar animation preset, right? It gives me the list of preset animations that the avatars have. Are you ready?
Okay.
Are you ready for this? They're alphabetical.
This is for Xbox Live Indie Games developers?
Yes. When I go into the code, it gives me a class that contains all of the preset animations that they have for you.
Okay.
And the list includes Celebrate, Clap, Female Angry, Female Confused, Female Cry, Female Idol Check Nails, Female Idol Fix Shoe, female idol look around, female idol shift weight, female laugh, female shocked, female yawn, male angry, male confused, male cry, male idol check hand, male idol look around, male idol shift weight, male idol stretch, male laugh, male surprised, male yawn. Hold on. I thought that was... No, okay. Stand 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7, and then wave.
Well, so you clearly have to make avatar female check nails minor. Where every time you check your nails, a little part of the cube explodes. Like using your psychic nail powers. No?
I don't know, maybe.
There's some... Was there a little bit of sexism going on in there?
Well, okay, I did like that when it's female idol check nails, but it's male idol check hand.
Yeah, that's... I was ready to be all over them for having the female idol cry, but they had that for male as well. But
yeah, well, there's
nails,
female cry and male cry.
Yeah, the nails hand differential there.
Also, female idol fix shoe does not exist in any way. Wait, hold on. Because there's 4 idols for each, and it's fix shoe and then male idol stretch.
I'm kind of very surprised they even went to all the trouble to have different male and female animations.
Yeah, well, because I mean, in my opinion, check nails and check hand, effectively they could have made them the same and it.
Whoa! A cube just appeared on my screen.
Yes!
What do I do now?
Yes.
Tap it.
Yes!
Tap it.
It
Yes!
looks like.
Look at it.
Well, oh no! My screen went blank.
No!
I didn't touch anything.
No,
I just.
Michael, you
Oh no!
broke
Now
it.
my screen is black. Wait!
No.
What is going on?
You're the worst at cubes.
Okay, hold on a second. Okay.
Ugh.
Now this cube has a different colored face. Now it looks like somebody just spray painted graffiti all over
Okay, good.
the
That's
cube.
the cube. That's the cube. That's one layer emerging from the next layer.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I'm so confused. So why does it look like somebody is spray painting it then?
Well,
They're breaking
it's
the-
like reverse spray painting.
Okay, so I just tap.
Tap on the cube.
Okay, I tapped, and it's zooming in, and it's zooming in, and it's zooming in some more. And now it's all pixelated and looks horrible.
Yes, that's good.
So I tap on these little tiny cube things,
Yes.
and they disappear.
Yes.
No, seriously, that's it?
That's the game.
Oh, I got a bonus for clearing a screen.
Yeah, you do.
90 point bonus. Let me try this next screen here.
Yeah. Do it.
360. Wow. Okay.
Yeah. You get bigger bonuses the more squares there are
Whoa.
to erase in the screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Makes sense.
It took me a full day to figure that out.
It took you that long? How many were you clearing away per day?
A lot. But I wasn't clearing away full screens. I was kind of playing like I was in the YouTube video, except with a little less force.
Oh wow. I got like coins or something? What are these things I'm collecting?
Well,
What do I use them
You
for?
can, like I was saying before, you can spend real life money to break cubes faster, or if you earn enough coins, you can also spend those to do it. The lowest tier pickaxe is 300,000 coins.
Wow.
So that
How
means you have to
What do
break
you have right now?
1,000 cubes.
What are you up to right now?
I accidentally hit the Facebook icon.
Oh no, you're gonna lose all your
now
coins.
it's opening up my Facebook thing. I'm gonna
Um,
lose all my coins now?
You're gonna lose all your coins. Don't do it.
Oh.
I think that's part of the game, but I'm not sure.
Let's see. Okay, well, I'm back to the game. Let's see if it got rid of all my coins.
I have a theory that part of the experiment is that the game's trying to see how many terrible things it can do to you, the player, before you stop playing it. And that's why it's so glitchy.
Or maybe because there's not much to the game besides just a bunch of cubes.
Well, no, but if there's so little of the game that I couldn't have required much work, right? So there couldn't be any bugs, really.
You
There's only so many places for bugs to
I've
be.
seen a lot of free games which do that, and it's telling me how many people have played the game so
and
far.
obviously, Peter Molyneux has done no wrong in the past. So, yeah.
So is that a French name, Molyneux?
I wish I knew.
Oh,
Oh.
you wish you Molyneux.
Oh.
You wish your mom did knew. What?
Whoa.
Wish your mommy knew.
Oh, I gotta go to the
Yeah,
hospital
that
now.
was what I was going for, yeah.
Yeah. Well, it was good. We kind of tag teamed it, each getting a little better.
Oh, I got a ×2 coin bonus. Ooh,
There you go.
×3.
Okay.
What does that mean? That means I just get
You get more
twice
coins.
8 coins? What do I do to trigger that bonus?
I'm not sure.
Because I obviously want... What do you mean you're not sure?
I just tap the cubes, alright? I don't question the cubes. I just break them.
Wow, this was more fun than the GameCube. So what's this thing on the left-hand side of the screen, which it says like 57?
Oh, that's that's how many cubes you've broken in a row. Your combo. Your
what,
combo.
Like not in a row?
Yeah, well, like in a row, like...
No second break in between, right?
Yeah, exactly. Mine's up to, I don't know, a few thousand, I think. Maybe it's a few hundred, I forget.
How did you break a few thousand? Because I'm apparently let me see.
It was when I first unlocked my first pickaxe, so I was destroying like 9 cubes at a time.
Oh,
Man,
I see. Yeah,
that was a good 5 minutes. Did I mention the pickaxes only last for 5 minutes?
No, what?
Yeah, so your 300,000 coins get you a pickaxe that you can only use for 5 minutes.
This is horrible. But it brings me to a topic which I was going to mention anyway, which is horrible rip-off moves they do in, say, I'm not sure what the genre is called. Freemium games, I think it's what they're calling it.
Freemium, free to play.
Free to play, but, they try to get you to pay money for everything.
Yeah.
So, like, right now I'm playing the My Little Pony freemium game, which people are saying it's just like the Simpsons one. And one of the moves they'll do is they separate characters who go together.
No, wait, like which Simpson? Like the Simpsons arcade game? Like you have ponies on skateboards?
The Simpsons iPhone game. Our iPad for Android and, tablets everywhere.
Okay.
So I think what they'll do is say it's like, okay, well, it cost you only 1,000 coins to get Mr. Smithers, but it's going to cost you 50,000 if you want Mr. Burns. And every single character who's paired up with each other, they'll do something similar like that. And that's what they're doing in the My Little Pony game too. It's kind of upsetting me.
So they're making you pay extra for Tinkle Winkle. How much actually does Tinkle Winkle cost?
Who's Tinklewinkle?
Isn't it a pony?
No. Let me see. Let me find ponies which actually go together. Oh my gosh. I can't be bothered to look up. It kind of annoys me. You know the Big Lebowski ponies, which I told you about? They're in the game.
Really?
The Big Lebowski ponies. It's Jeff the Dude Letrotsky instead of Lebowski, Letrotsky, because they don't want to get sued by those guys. And his Jesus Pezuña. I imagine that would be humorous if I've actually seen the movie. I haven't seen the movie, but apparently he has a buddy named Jesus. Well, here's an example. 2 people who are married. They're separated, and one costs like 4,000 more than the other.
Yeah.
And this game is also doing, I don't know if you've seen this in other games, but it's doing the move where you have 2 different types of currency.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, because the Simpsons game does that too. They have donuts, and I don't know what the other one is. I've never played the Simpsons one, but it's where like, okay, well, you can wait 4 hours for Ned Flanders to show up, or you can use one of these super rare donut currencies to pay for him, and he'll show up in 2 minutes.
Yeah.
But I'm really cheap, so it's like, no, I'm gonna wait 5 hours for such a character to show up. I'm not gonna pay you, $2 to make him show up faster.
What was it that I used to play that was like that? There's something. I think it was Albatross 18. It was like a golf game. I think I reviewed it for GameCola.
Yeah, I vaguely remember that review, like from the olden days.
Yeah, it was a while ago, years. But like, maybe even pre-podcast.
Oh, I'm sure it was. I think it was like, I'm gonna say 06, 07.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. But like, everything would cost like 50,000 coins, or it would cost like 10 of the like pay currency, and like 50,000 coins could take you like a week to make. Like if you played straight for a week and didn't spend your money on anything else. And then there was other stuff that you could only buy with coins, or like with the pay money. And like,
Yeah.
I would always just save up, and eventually it was just like, really, I spent like a week to get a hat. And then like, what I think made me stop playing was that they then released a whole bunch of stuff that was all of the stuff you could buy but better, and you could only buy these better ones with money. It's like, okay, so then not only is it more difficult to get the same stuff, but now there's better stuff that you can only get by paying. So.
What they're doing with the pony one is that it's I don't know how to describe it. You know, the one that you're supposed to pay for, it's like you can get those in the game, but they're like super rare.
Yeah.
If that makes sense. So it's like a 1 in 100 chance that you will get this particular coin.
Yeah.
And the game will automatically give you, say, 3. Every 5 days you get 3 of them.
Yeah.
But we've got some characters. Let's take a look at the super rare thing. Princess Celestia, 950 of them.
Okay, so that's not something you could, yeah.
At a rate of 3 per day, 3 every 5 days, yeah.
That's what it was.
Yeah.
It wasn't, Albatross 18 did the same thing, but it was Tetris Battle that did that.
Sweetie Belle.
Is like,
you have to like save up to unlock L blocks?
No, they had,
Like you start the game, it's only the Z tetrads, and that's all you can play with.
Tetrominoes.
That's so horrible.
Yeah, isn't that like a nightmare?
What was it? Actually, it wouldn't be, because then you would always know, like, you could build a strategy around that.
Yeah, but once you have your strategy down, every game is going to be exactly the same.
Yeah. And also, technically, you could only ever, at best, clear 2 lines at a time. But, no, okay, whenever you would level up, you would get one of the pay monies, or you could just pay for it. I mean, you could also do, like, do a survey or something and get some coins, but...
Oh, I don't trust those things at all.
Yeah, neither do I. And then there were times where, like, I did the survey, and it still didn't give me the coins. I was like, I'm going to be getting spam mail from this garbage, and I didn't even get anything for it. But what really upset me about it was the free coins that you get every time that you play the game. Like, every game you get 10 coins or something like that. Things that you would buy with the coins weren't permanent. So,
oh, that's lame.
Like the pickaxe in Curiosity.
Well, like, okay, they had, like, graphical stuff. Like, you could change your blocks to look like the blocks from the Tetris, or from the Game Boy game, or the NES game, or, like, whatever you want, right?
Okay.
Now, you get, like, 10 coins per round that you play, right?
Okay, now I leveled up a pony. Okay, guys, I have leveled up Mrs. Cupcake.
Good work.
Mrs. Cake and her husband, of course, costs like 3,000 extra, so I haven't purchased him.
But, like, okay, so it takes 2 minutes per game to make 10 coins. And it costs, like, 4,000 coins to get to make yourself look like you have the Game Boy things, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then you find out that only lasts for a week.
Really?
Yeah, like, you just spent how long saving up to get this, and then it only lasts for a week. But if you wanted it permanently, you would have to pay, like, 20 of the pay monies.
That's
and what does that equate to in real American dollars?
I don't remember, it was like $5 or something. It was like, oh, like, are you kidding me?
So somebody just beat the My Little Pony game. Just saying. Keep going.
I have a question, Jeddy.
Yes.
Not really related to the free-to-play model, but related to your Tetris Facebook game.
Okay.
I have Tetris on the Game Boy.
Okay.
Why would I play this version? Because it sounds like it's a lot worse.
No, okay. There was like Tetris Friends or something, which is basically Tetris on the Game Boy.
Tetris with buddies?
Something like that, like, pretty much. And, like, it wasn't competition, it was just, like, playing it, but on Facebook instead.
Okay.
I played Tetris Battle, which is playing against other people.
Okay.
So that is, like, the thing that got me into it.
So that there is actually something there.
Yeah, and, like...
okay. But, like, here, if you want to unlock classic Game Boy mode, like, For $3, I'll just send you my copy.
No, I have two. Okay, I have a
Okay.
I have a working old school Game Boy and 2 cartridges of Tetris.
Okay.
I know, and I have the link cable right here actually, because whenever I go to Disney World, we're gonna have to meet up someday
Yes.
and then
Yes,
play Tetris
that's gonna be the
together.
best Let's Play ever.
So,
Oh,
I
man.
call Luigi.
do you get to choose?
Can you? Well, hold on a second. Okay, so I've got my game link. It links up to the Game Boy printer.
None of the people who are listening have any idea what we're talking about at this point.
Yeah.
Cables? What?
Well, okay, wasn't there an infrared thing? Or no, that was the Game Boy Color had the infrared, didn't it?
For the benefit of those who aren't old people like us, the original brick Game Boy, it did not have wireless play of any kind. It had wired multiplayer. Like there was like a kind of a 4-pronged wire that you could attach to 4 different Game Boys at once, and that's how you played like that Zelda multiplayer game with other people. Or
Yeah,
Tetris.
which is interesting. The Zelda multiplayer game, because when
that-
did that
that was
come
actually
out? That was 2004.
Yeah, that was actually that wasn't so long ago.
And it was ridiculous. It's like, why can't we just use the internet or wireless technology there at Nintendo?
Yeah, actually, I believe my friends and I played that at the Disney World Airport for our class trip. Speaking of playing games at Disney World,
Yes.
cords just kind of strewn all over all the chairs.
No, actually, it was funny. I was with a group of people recently, and I was the oldest one by a long shot. And, it just bugged me to listen to them, and they were like, what were they talking about? I think they were talking about, like, anime that was on Cartoon Network when they were in, like, middle school, and they were talking about, like Naruto and stuff, like stuff that played really recently. And I'm sitting here like, middle school? Like, I think I was already in college, like...
It's not their fault that we're old, Jeddy.
But then they were like, so what high school do you guys go to? And they're like, oh, I go to this high school, or like, oh, well, I'm in community college or something. They're like, oh, Alex, like, are you in college? Or like,
Oh.
I'm like, I'm just old. Like, I'm not in, how does this happen? How do you get old?
Can I tell a
I
quick
think it
story?
just happens. I don't think you purposely try.
Yeah, like, I decided that I wanted to be old.
I want to be old now.
I have an anecdote.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
So the doorbell rang at my apartment.
Oh, I know where this is. I know this story.
And I made
And you couldn't hear it because you need a hearing aid.
I didn't have my hearing aid turned up all the way. But eventually I figured it out. I made the mistake of actually going to the door and opening it. There's this guy there with a shirt that said USA Beef on it.
Yeah.
And he asked me, a 27-year-old man who's, starting to lose a little hair on top of his head, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
He asked me, hi, is your mom or dad here? So I told him no, and I closed the door. Like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do in that situation?
Yeah.
So anyway, video games.
Video game, yes.
Back to video games. I just looked it up. Okay, so at the rate of, like 3 of the special items every 5 days, it's going to take you 5 months to get one character, 2 years to get the other character, and you need to unlock both of them to get the true ending.
Wow.
And at that point, you will have lost complete interest in this game. I mean, these games have a shelf life of about a week.
Yeah.
Like, remember Draw Something, guys? Remember Draw Something?
No.
Yeah, but here's a trick that you can use for these games, because they're on the Android and the iPhone and such. You can manually change the date of your iPhone. So it's like,
so
okay.
you can make the game think it's been 6 months or whatever?
No, so you can make the game think, oh, it's next week. We're going to give him 3 points. And then,
wow.
just do that, and, that way you can get for a month.
How have
with
the
it,
developers
like,
not dealt with that yet?
You turn off the, whatever you call it. It's internet.
Yeah. Turn off the
compatibility.
Wi-Fi and 3GS stuff.
Yeah, you turn off the Wi-Fi, and then it totally works. It's great.
Yeah.
Wow.
I remember.
So wait, sorry,
Yeah.
real quick. Just to clarify, you are changing the settings on your iPad so you can cheat at the My Little Pony game.
No, I just say it's possible.
It's just okay. All right, Jeddy, go ahead. Sorry.
No, I was just remembering, Windows 95 and like installing a software that would, it's free for 30 days. So you set the date to like 2101, install the software, and then set it back to 1999.
Does anyone else use WinRAR?
That's
Yes.
pretty clever.
Have they made you uninstall it yet, or has it stopped working yet?
No, okay, it just pops up with a little thing that you have to close.
Well, it pops up and says you have 30 days to use this.
Does it?
I've been using. Yeah, I think.
Hold on, let me go open a RAR.
I'm pretty sure it does.
Hold on, let me go find where.
Like, or if not 30 days, I'm pretty sure it sets some sort of limit, and I've been using it for years and years and years at this point.
Yeah, hold on. Oh, where do I even have a zip file? Oh, here's one. Please note that WinRAR is not free software. After a 40-day trial period, you must either buy a license or remove it from your computer.
There you go. I guess that's kind of nice of them, though.
Yeah.
They're still not forcing you to pay it. They're telling you that you have to, but
Yeah.
they're leaving kind of a loophole open.
Interesting.
Which I assume has to be intentional because they can't be that stupid.
Yeah.
They made this program.
Yeah.
That reminds me of actually video games with emulation, where they say that you have to have a physical copy of the game in order to have an emulated copy.
Yeah.
Is that actually a law, or is that just something people made up?
I
mean,
like
is
I
Nintendo
heard
actually gonna like search my closet to make sure I have MC kits? Because I do have
Yeah.
the McDonald's video game. No.
Yeah.
I feel like that might be like justification that people made up. I don't know if there's actually a rule that says that. I think emulation just isn't okay,
Yeah.
but I'm not sure.
I've also heard stuff where like the copyright runs out after 10 years or something like that, and so
Okay.
Yeah,
unless
it
they
changes. Yeah.
specifically renew it.
Well, that's like where abandonware comes from, right?
I don't know.
Mhm.
Where like games to the copyright has run out,
Yeah.
so it's okay to pirate
Yeah.
it. I guess
It's comical.
Yeah. That happens with movies as well.
we need a lawyer on here.
Yes.
Where's
Actually,
Travis?
a
Travis
couple
used
of
to
the
be a
Nancy
paralegal.
Drew- Ooh, really?
Yeah,
Didn't
might still be. I don't know. He was at one point.
T. Combs did a review recently, didn't he?
He did, yeah.
I-
He reviewed Deadly Premonition,
Yeah.
which is actually really good timing because they just announced that they're remaking it, or
Oh.
even making a director's cut version for the PlayStation 3.
No, I read it in
So what does that mean, director's cut version? They do that for video games? Because I know they do that for like movies where it's like, okay, we added one thing and now you have to pay another $20.
I think it's essentially a remake, but they realize how ridiculous it is to remake a game that's like still on this generation. Like, I mean, they're not remaking it from the ground up, but they're adding stuff to it, one assumes, making it better, hopefully, which it has a lot of room to grow. So
This brings up a question. How long do you think there should be before they remake a video game?
I think
30
at least
days.
one. I would say at least a generation, a console generation.
I don't know.
I
I think console generations are kind of fading out, though. Like,
Oh, that's
it's
true.
not really the way that it used to be.
Yeah, especially because PlayStation expects like the console generation to be like 10 years or so, 10, 15 years, because they don't want to come up with a new like PlayStation every 3 years.
They don't want to
I
get
guess
laughed
what I
at again
mean
when they
is-
try to sell it for $600.
Yeah.
What I mean is, like, when it's no longer really feasible to play it on the old platform, or it's not
Yeah.
easy to anymore.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like that's a pretty reasonable time. Or if, like, technology has advanced so much since that game last came out that you can do something really cool with it now, I guess.
Yeah.
Like,
Okay.
porting an old Super Nintendo game onto Xbox Live and having online multiplayer. I mean, that's not something you could do with the Super Nintendo version, stuff like that.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I've got a couple of examples, and they all come from Nintendo because that's all I know. What about Super Mario All-Stars? Didn't they, like, release the 25th anniversary edition of that?
They did. They released Super Mario All-Stars from Super Nintendo. They just kind of put it on a disc and put it on the Wii.
And you can technically get those games, right, from the Wii's Virtual Console?
You can, but they're not the Mario All-Stars version. Mario All-Stars versions have better graphics and better save systems in that they have save systems. So I mean, they're mildly different. On the Wii, it doesn't really matter because Wii Virtual Console games you can essentially save anywhere by what is it, just going to the main menu or whatever.
Yeah.
It saves your progress. But
it automatically saves.
yeah. But the Super Nintendo versions have better graphics.
Okay. And I was also going to bring up Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, the 3D remake, when there are like 2 other places to play the original game.
Yeah.
Much.
I mean, this version's in 3D though.
Yeah, that is a fair point.
Yeah.
I guess this kind of brings up something that I think about from time to time is like,
will you ever find a girlfriend? Yes, you will, Jeddy.
Oh.
One day.
One day.
Well, like most
GameCola dating service, right?
Well, aren't we supposed to make that game?
Yeah.
The GameCola dating sim. Now, should we do that before or after the Legend of the Seven Beards? The GameCola RPG.
I feel like they're related, though.
Right?
Oh, should there be dating aspects to Legend of the Seven Beards?
Oh.
Well, no, I was just saying you wouldn't want to date somebody without a fantastic beard, right?
Oh, that's a given, yeah. Boy or girl.
Did I ever review Thousand Arms on GameCola?
Meteo did. Mateo.
Really? I think you're right, because I
Mateo
remember...
Javier.
I think I reviewed it on my old website that I had, and then I was confused.
I feel like, again, I think that was from the Wayback era. I have kind of an encyclopedia memory of stuff from the old website just because I had to spend so much time on each individual article to get it in the newsletter.
So you remember the inside the guide for Mickey Mouse capades and such?
I do. I mean, I couldn't tell you like what exact issue it's from, but I remember that it happened.
Yeah, so I mean, for those of you who are fans of Inside the Guide, I tried to include the ASCII art.
That's what I thought. I thought that was that one.
And it didn't fit in Inside the Guide, so Paul had to take a screenshot of that and use it as a picture.
I thought that was that one. Yep.
Actually, the same problem happened recently with my 7th guest Inside the Guide, I think. I'm going to have to look that up now so I don't sound like a complete idiot.
Apparently, Mateo is the one who reviewed it on in 2009 on...
Oh, 2009. I thought it was older than that.
Yeah, well, I know that...
2009 was the last year we had the magazine format.
I think so.
Sometime January to July.
I'm trying to remember. I don't know. But,
Yeah. No, keep going. Sorry.
Yeah, the point is, it was an RPG that had dating sim elements that, you had to date girls to level up your weapons. And,
What?
Yeah, and, you had to date them, and that got you more spells and stuff and more powerful weapons by,
Because girls are magic and they teach you spells?
Okay,
is this like some sort of game that's trying to, subvert nerd culture and try to get nerdy guys to date more?
I don't know, but, it was, you're like a soul blacksmith or something, and in order to, power up your soul, you need emotions. And so, dating the girls and the different, getting them to like you more, gave you more powerful weapons when you forged weapons.
Best game ever.
Yes. But anyway, Legend of the Seven Beards, the dating sim. Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So maybe it's like a prequel or like a spin-off, like how one of the 360 Fables had a spin-off Xbox Live arcade game called Fable Pub Games.
Ooh, I reached level 12.
That came out before the actual game that you could buy and play, and by playing it, you would be able to accrue money that you could then transfer to the game. So what I'm saying is, I guess if you find a boyfriend in the dating sim, you can then have that boyfriend in the RPG.
Really?
Yes. But,
it's nice to have some carryover.
No, a lot of my friends, they didn't play video games back when I was, starting to play video games. You know,
back in the Stone Age.
When I was 3 or 4, I was playing video games, and to them, they didn't start until early high school. So their first game is Final Fantasy VII, whereas mine is Dragon Warrior. And I don't know, it's, in a way, it's somewhat
difficult to communicate with them.
Yeah, when I'm when I talk about, old games, I have this concept of what an old game is, and to them, they look at Final Fantasy VII and go, oh, that's so old. And I'm like, well, yeah, kind of, But when I say old, I mean Dragon Warrior. Like, I mean, like, 1989. Like, not 1997. You know?
Mm-hmm.
You ever have that, like, feeling out process when you're talking with someone who you've never talked about video games with before, where you're trying to just kind of ascertain their level of knowledge of the subject so you know, like, what kind of terminology to use or what kind of games to talk about?
Yeah, and like, I don't know, it's just weird because I guess I'm trying not to be like elitist, you know, with my friends and be like, oh, well,
I believe we've already established that you're a video game hipster, Jeddy.
yes, but like, I don't want to alienate people, and like, I guess it's not really their fault most of the time that they haven't played games, but at the same time, when they're like, oh, I'm such a nerd, I play all these video games, I'm like, no, it's like acceptable now to play video games. Like, when I was doing it, people thought I was weird, and now, like, you can talk about, oh yeah, I play Pokemon and Legend of Zelda, or whatever. But when I was
Yeah, I
like,
play Angry Birds, yeah.
yeah, and like,
I'm a gamer, I play Angry Birds.
and,
Why are you laughing? It's a good game.
but like, when
There's a Star Wars one out now.
I remember being in elementary school in like first grade and trying to tell my friends about Final Fantasy II and Lemmings, like on separate occasions, like different video games that I was playing, or telling them about Rampart or something, and having them just be like, that game sounds dumb.
Oh.
Like, or at best, what I would get is I would go over to their house and they would want to play like Mortal Kombat, and all that they would do is just stand there and like punch over and over and be like, oh man, this is a great game. I'm like, this is,
Poor Jeddy.
yeah. And so like, you don't really have to deal with that quite as much. I don't know, I mean, I guess there are the people who play Call of Duty, and then there's the people who play Phoenix Wright, or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But
it's not like some sort of negative status symbol to have an Xbox 360.
yeah,
Like it would be. Or to, like, know what video games are.
yeah.
As it might have been back when we were growing up.
Yeah, or I remember I was in second grade, and one of my teachers got back from Hawaii, and like, you know, the Hawaiian, like, you put your pinky and your thumb out and wave your hand back and forth or whatever? Like, do you know what I'm talking about?
The hang loose sign, yeah.
Yeah, like, whatever. Okay,
I just tried doing that, and it made, like, it made a dirty hand sign. I don't think that's what you're going
no?
for.
Pinky and thumb?
I can do that because I've played piano, so I've needed to press keys. Which
Oh, wait, here we go. I did it right.
Yeah, like, you're putting your pinky and thumb, and then you spin your hand around.
What?
Do you know what I'm talking about? Like,
I kind of do, but my hands keep making dirty symbols.
no, it's like a surfer thing or whatever, you know?
Okay.
Like,
Yes.
Surfers apparently are dirty.
well, you know, they've been out sweating and like in the salty sea.
Yeah, they bathe in the water. They don't actually bathe in actual, like, real water. It's the ocean.
But okay, so she came back from Hawaii.
That's a surf joke. I'm not like a horrible person who hates surfers.
Yeah, we were just gonna let that go, let you kind of hang yourself there.
Just thought I would point that out. That's.
But okay,
You're gonna get some angry comments from Surfin' Bob.
in Final Fantasy II, Edge, when he's casting his ninja spells, he makes a hand sign like that. Like he's sitting there making this hand sign, and I told my teacher that like, oh, there's a video game character that does that when he casts spells, and she's like, oh, I've only been back for 2 days and already I'm hearing about video games.
Oh.
Yeah, and like here I am, you know, in second grade, and it's like I'm being
That's kind of
publicly made fun of by
the teacher?
authority figure.
Yeah. Oh.
Like, I don't know, it's funny because I never really thought about it that much, like in that light, and it's kind of funny to like.
Yeah, but now that you've been seeing your therapist and he's brought this up, you.
Yeah, just talk it out, Jeddy. We're here for you.
Yeah.
We all love you.
I don't know, like, I guess there's still a certain level of that, but like,
I'm suddenly feeling a much greater appreciation for my own childhood because, I mean, my parents, my family were all enablers. We always had NES and Super Nintendo and everything. Yeah. And I always, like, I never had, like, a lot of friends, but I had good gaming friends. Like I had friends who would play through Karnov on the NES. I mean, that's a keeper, right?
Yeah.
That's a keeper. Or like my buddy Dave, we played Secret of Monkey Island together for the first time, and he had the hint book, and it was wonderful. We were able to solve a lot of the puzzles together, and the ones we weren't able to figure out, I mean, we put our noodles together, and then okay, wait a minute, that just got derailed quickly. But anyway,
is it possible to solve the puzzles in that game without a hint book?
Most of them. I mean, I don't. The Monkey Island 2 is the one where you really like. That's the one I still have trouble with. You know, even though I've beaten it a few times by now.
Yeah. I mean, I only solved like 2 puzzles when I played the game, but then again, I only had the demo, so
Yeah.
I don't think it was longer than 2 puzzles.
But I didn't really experience the kind of ostracism that you seem to have experienced, Jeddy.
Yeah, I mean,
feel very thankful.
well, okay, within my family, like, my brother and I, we played similar games, and my dad also played a lot of the, like, Final Fantasies and that kind of thing. But, like, outside of my family, the best that I would get is, like, I remember being at someone's birthday party one time, and they had gotten the Lion King video game for their birthday party, for, like, the Sega.
Mm-hmm.
And they were playing that, and they're like, oh, I have no idea what I'm doing, I'm just pressing buttons. Or, like, other similar things where effectively I got a friend of mine to play, like, Contra with me, and they just kept dying. And
Did they just not have video games in New York?
I don't know. It's weird. Like,
Yeah, I remember trying to introduce my little sister to video games, and I thought, I'll start her off with Super Mario 64, and she just, the first level of Super Mario 64, she was not able to walk up the bridge to the second level. She kept falling off the bridge.
Sorry, I shouldn't laugh at that.
It's, I mean, it's just working the joystick was so foreign to her.
no, I don't know.
I hope she's not listening. She'll get mad.
Oh.
Who is this? I'm going through my Facebook friends list, and it's like, what on earth? Can people change their names on Facebook?
Yes, they can.
So somebody has changed their name to Funny Elizabeth Bunny. Is this your wife, Paul? Because I don't
My
know
wife has
any
not changed
other
her name on
Elizabeths.
I have witnessed a similar problem though, like girls I knew in high school getting married and changing their last names, and now whoops, I don't know who they are anymore.
How did you get on my friends list?
Yeah, I've seen that a few times. Or like people I knew in high school friending me now, and they've since changed their names, and very confusing.
Mm-hmm. But nobody changed their name to Fuzzy Elizabeth Bunny.
Nobody I'm familiar with.
So anyway, I was trying to say, my friends,
Yes.
they like games, but they like more newer games, and I feel like they don't understand what I went through when I played games, and like, the games that I grew up liking aren't the games that they grew up liking, and it's difficult to like talk about topics when I'm like, oh man, do you remember like trying to play Final Fantasy 1 and like half the spells didn't work and like stuff like that, and they're like, I played it on the Game Boy, what are you talking about? Or like on the Game Boy Advanced, like all the spells worked. I'm like, well no, but in the original.
Or Jeddy.
Yeah.
The spells didn't work in the original. I agree.
Well, like, okay, if you cast like A-Ice or A-Lit or whatever, did absolutely nothing, and like half of the other spells didn't do what they were supposed to. Or like, I think things that said that they were good against like the ogre sword or whatever, it didn't actually do anything against ogres, And there was a lot of dying and getting to save and having your save erased.
I remember getting stuck in, now I'm trying to remember, like the Earth Dungeon, the first Earth Dungeon where you have like the giant golem guy protecting it or something. Yeah. And there's this one point where it's like you have to get the item from this one treasure chest, but the square in front of it is bugged, so whenever you step on it, you have to fight this ginormous enemy.
Yeah. No,
that took me like an hour.
The boss squares, if you step on them, it causes the boss to happen, as opposed to like you beating it and it disappearing and stuff. So if you go back, I've had times where I just like, I left the dungeon after beating the boss, and I forgot to like, you're supposed to talk to the crystal or whatever, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And like, I would forget to do that, and then I'd have to go back all the way through the dungeon, fight the boss again, and then do it. So
Lots of EXP.
yeah, but boring and long, and I die 3 times going through the dungeon. And
Yeah, I remember the volcano dungeon being the one I hated as well. The volcano/ice one.
yeah, no, there were so
So
many.
you've played this game, you know what I'm talking about. Yeah.
But like when I've had discussions about Final Fantasy 1 before, and most of my friends will be like, "Oh yeah, I played Final Fantasy 1," and I'll be talking about certain things, and they're like, "I don't remember that at all." And then I realized that they were playing like one of the 3 generations in remakes, and I'm like, "Oh, well, I guess it's a little different then."
So does it not count that I played the Game Boy Advance version?
It does not count, apparently. I don't know. The Game Boy Advance version is better because it lets you save anywhere, which makes the save anywhere item completely
It makes
useless.
any
Yeah.
video game better.
And also, like, it has spells that actually work and stuff. Doesn't it
Oh.
also have an actual MP system as opposed to the original system?
Oh, now I remember what I hated about the magic spells. It's they wouldn't tell you if you could use a spell before you bought it.
Yeah.
So I would be buying all these spells. It's like, whoops, turned out that only white mages can cast that spell.
Yeah.
You
Or,
had to buy spells in that game?
Yeah.
Wow.
It's like, oh, you just spent 3,000 gil on that one spell, and now you can't ever use it.
did they not have that in the new games?
Oh, they had that in the new games. They let you know.
Well, no, like that you bought spells.
I don't know. I haven't played.
I mean, you certainly don't still buy magic spells in Final Fantasy games, I don't think.
Well, I mean, like in Final Fantasy 1.
Yeah, I was trying to think of that too. I don't remember. I mean, it's
Yeah,
been a
I
long
don't
time since I
remember
played the
either.
remake.
Because no, there was a black magic store and a white magic store, and you went and you bought the spells, and like different spells had levels, and you had a certain number of casts per each level. So like you could cast 7 level 1 spells and 4 level 2 spells and 2 level 3 spells. Like I don't know, and you had like a limited number of spaces per each level, but like sometimes I think a ninja could cast black magic every once in a while, and like red mages could cast some white magic spells and some black magic spells.
And the game just lets you figure that out on your own rather than,
Yeah.
like telling you.
And now for me, I still have it. It's issue like number 4 or something of Nintendo Power was just about Final Fantasy. And it gave you the whole list of like what people could equip and stuff.
That's useful. I
Especially
had that for Final Fantasy Tactics too, actually. Yeah.
especially when it's like the thief can't equip this sword, but they can equip this other sword. Like
Yeah, see, the first time I ran into that problem, it made me so mad because I didn't save my game before going to the shop.
Yeah.
Because I didn't know that would be a problem.
Yeah. I don't know. But this the thing is like I have to appreciate that it's not really my friend's fault that they didn't play games before then, and like they still do play games now, and they still have played games that I've also played, but there's a certain point of like they didn't go through what I went through to play Final Fantasy 1.
Well, think of it this way, though, Jeddy. You, having been born earlier, had almost an unfair advantage. You had more time to play these games. These games were new and interesting when they came out.
Yeah.
And I mean that hasn't been the case for people who were born like 5 years after us or 10 years after us.
I don't know, because I mean there are also
I guess you're
people...
probably not hanging out with any 17-year-olds. But
I don't know.
so, Jeddy,
Paul,
do we have any listener mail?
we do.
We do.
We only have 2 emails, but we do have some.
That's good. That means we can probably get through both of them.
All right.
Number 1.
Oh, wait. Hold on a second. I've got another off-topic thing to mention.
Did you level up?
No, this ties back into older video games, I guess.
Okay.
Because as I think I mentioned a couple of times already, I'm playing the My Little Pony game on the
Yeah, that's an older game.
app. No, I think no.
It's retro iPhone.
not-
His Generation 1 iPhone.
Yeah.
like a month ago.
Generation
right,
1, did they even have Snake on that?
Sorry, okay, Michael Gray, go on. Sorry.
So the current game, it has like voice clips from, they have like the actual voice actors saying little things. And that's something older games don't have, and I think people don't appreciate.
Yeah.
Because let's bring it back to GameCola. Remember the reviews for the Simpsons arcade game?
Yes.
And both reviews specifically mentioned how the voices are horrible and don't sound anything like the TV show.
Yeah.
It's like, that's a problem which older gamers had to deal with, which, modern gamers really don't have to worry about it so much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
It's like, expect to hear these voices which sound like the actual TV show.
Yeah.
It always jumps out at me when I see criticism that's like, I thought this game was really good, but it didn't have voice acting. Because, like, I feel like, as someone who's been playing games since before voice acting was a thing, like, I don't even notice if a game doesn't have voice acting or not.
Yeah.
And I guess that's, like, a real generational gap thing, because I guess people who have grown up playing, like, GameCube games, like, voice acting is just something that's assumed. If it's not there, it's like, man, there's all these words and I have to read them? Like, that's the thing that sticks out at people.
Interesting, because 2 points, when I was playing Virtue's Last Reward, I read faster than I listen.
Yeah, I was going to say the same thing.
Yeah.
Like,
I've had that, yeah.
So I will cut off every single person at the end of their sentence, because I am not married to the voice acting.
Yeah.
I have that same exact, like, I a lot of times have to turn off subtitles because I know if I don't, I'm just going to sit there skipping through all the text because, like you said, I read it so much faster than the voice actors do.
Well, Virtue's Last Reward has, whatever you call it, like a fast forward button, or it's got a setting where it's like you don't have to press A after every sentence. It will automatically move on for you once the person has finished saying it.
Yeah.
So then it's not a video game anymore, though. You're watching a movie.
It's interesting because it's like, okay, well, the parts where the characters don't talk, where like you get to hear your character's thoughts, and there's no voice acting for that. The main character in the game doesn't have any voiced lines whatsoever, which I think is kind of weird. But it moves so slow. It's like it moves fine when the other characters are talking, but I mean, with the part where nobody's talking, it's like this guy is the slowest thinker in the world.
Do kids these days, like, can they just not handle reading? Are they not good at it? Is that the problem?
That's why they invented Twitter, Paul.
Actually, I was talking with a friend of mine a week or two ago about older games versus newer games or whatever. They started playing, RPGs and stuff around Final Fantasy VII, whereas I started around Dragon Warrior, and I was getting out of RPGs during that era because I was tired of, like, trying to play Chrono Cross in this stupid battle system that they had. Or, like, any of...
Where everything's color-based.
Yeah, and, like, I realize, like, okay...
Wait, really?
Well,
oh, yeah, you have to use the opposite colors of the opposite ends of the spectrum in order to deal maximum damage.
Yeah.
Jeddy, did you ever fight the final boss in that game?
I didn't get that far.
You have to... There's, like, a list of colors, and you have to hit all the colors in exactly the right order in order to win. Without the boss hitting you during it, I believe.
Yeah. And, like, that's, like, I just remember all of the games at that time were doing that. Like, Final Fantasy VII had the materia, which was, like, an acceptable thing, and then Final Fantasy VIII was stupid. And all of the RPGs at the time were like, okay, we don't want to have a battle system where you just hit attack over and over. What ridiculous thing can we have to do? And that's where tutorials started becoming, like, an hour-long ordeal that you don't really care about. And, like, for me... this was the point where I said, I'm tired of this, I'm not going to do it anymore. But to them, that was like the era in which they were entering games, so they didn't have this like...
preconceived notions
that exactly.
Things could be simpler.
Yeah, and like I understand that, yeah, okay, just sitting and pressing A is boring. But, I don't know, it was just different concepts of like why this was good or bad and how it like... to them, that's their, like, nostalgia is like, oh, this system reminds me of this other game, and to me, I'm like, oh, this system reminds me of this other game, I don't know. Were we talking about reader mail?
I was thinking...
I had another point that I was going to make. Remember I said 2 points?
Oh, okay.
You did. Okay.
What about games where, like, Virtue/Reward, where the main character doesn't have any lines and everybody else talks besides the main character.
Now, does he not have voice dialogue, or does he just not have any dialogue, period?
He does not have voiced dialogue, but
Okay.
I mean, the character will say, "What are you doing?" But,
That
it's
seems
complete
kind of weird.
silence.
Yeah, well, it's supposed to be from your point of view, so they don't have your voice. So.
But, I can
But
hear
he's a
me
horrible,
talking.
horrible person. I don't want to play as him, if that makes sense.
Well, that's it. You have to read all the dialogue out loud yourself.
But he's a
It's really meta.
pervert, man.
What a good idea. That'd be cool. The 3DS must have a microphone. You have to read all the. You have to read all the dialogue out loud in order to continue. That would be so cool.
Wow.
Paul, have you played any of the Brain Age games? That
I
doesn't.
have. I'm the person who beat Lifeline. All right.
Okay.
I'm the person. I am the person who beat Lifeline.
You are the person who owns Lifeline.
No, Matt Gardner also owns it because I bought it for him.
You are the person who paid for Lifeline.
Yes, twice.
You paid for 2 copies of Lifeline.
Yes, it's
Okay.
that good.
So,
Oh, I should have reviewed it.
Anyway.
yeah.
Yes. I think it's weird. He should have a voice.
Okay.
Either that or you should have to read it. That's
I
all.
guess that's kind of the
If
modern...
we do a Let's Play, you have to read it.
But I came up with the voices for all the characters in 999. You have to come up with a voice now. Because I
don't
had
do
the
voice
girl
acting.
characters sounding exactly the same, and one was Sean Connery, and
That was awesome. Oh, what a good series of videos. Okay.
anyway,
did you have any-
let's get to reader mail because we don't have anything interesting. I was going to mention Mario and Zelda and how I think they should have voices now, but nobody ever agrees with me, so let's just skip it.
Yeah.
I know what Mario's voice sounds like. It's me, Mario.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah. Well, I
Just
mean, it was in his voice was in the cartoon. It's okay.
Yeah, give him fully voiced dialogue in some of his games. I mean, seriously, you're paying this voice actor
Well,
just to ooh ha ho.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. He does have dialogue. Wahoo!
Yeah.
What else do you need?
Well, it just seems weird in the scenes where the princess will talk to him for an extended period of time, and he'll just stand around never answering.
Yeah.
It's wow, that's awkward.
Doesn't he even, not answer in the text? He just, nods or,
Yeah, he doesn't answer in the text at all. There's not even a box which says, "Oh, sure, I'd love to help you out." He's just, okay.
Super Mario RPG, I remember doing that, and it was he would nod, or he would give, the peace sign, or, he would jump or something, or, hold his hat down and duck.
I loved the parts in the game where you had to prove that you could jump
Yes.
by pushing the jump button.
So that's where it comes from? Super Mario RPG? Because they did that in one of the DS games. The Super Mario...
Yeah, there's a part where
in
are
time.
you sure you're really Mario? Prove it.
Yeah.
And you
That's
have to push
That's exactly
A to
what
jump.
happened.
Yeah.
The 2 Koopa guys made Mario and Luigi do a jumping challenge, and it was horribly difficult. I hated it.
Oh.
It was a very bad game. But
So, Jeddy, did we have any listener mail?
no, Super Mario RPG.
Yes. Well, Paul,
So
weren't you
that's-
saying
let me-
recently, do kids even know that Mario is a plumber anymore?
I did post that question on Twitter. When's the last time they mentioned Mario's origins in canon?
Game Boy.
He's a plumber from Brooklyn. When's the last time that came up?
Yes.
Super Mario Superstar Saga, but it's still an oblique reference to it. They force him to go down to the pipes and fix the sewer.
I can't believe you actually had an answer for me.
Yeah. That's the last time I've seen it, but I mean, I'm oh, this makes sense because he's a plumber.
Okay, so,
That's why I
My mom
remembered
wouldn't let me
it's
play with the
something they
plunger.
never
I wanted
mention.
to, because it was like Mario.
Okay, I'm gonna try to upgrade Bon Bon. I want her to get to level 3.
Is there any listener mail?
what do you think about the Ominous Voices new column?
I don't want to sound mean, but I kind of liked his joke where he said that nobody took notice of GameCola's new theme.
Oh. But that's the reaction I want. I didn't really want to make this whole big deal out of it. I want it to be the same GameCola, just kind of refined a little, more focused.
Yeah.
So it's good. That's a good thing that people didn't really notice that there was a huge change, because there shouldn't really have been a huge change except for all the fancy artwork and chat rooms and whatnot.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't a complete overhaul. We're firing the staff and where everything's going to be about ponies now.
Yeah, I mean that's exactly it. It was more of a focus. Like these are the thing. Like we were already talking about non-mainstream games on the site as it was. So like that was the whole idea, was to just make that explicit so we have kind of a selling point.
I guess I was a little worried that it was going to be all in caps.
It's possible that I talked with the ominous voice about that.
Oh, that it was originally going to be?
Well, I don't know. I don't know that it was originally going to be like that, but when the ominous voice told me that he was going to be writing a column, I suggested that would be difficult to read. So he might have he probably would have come up with that on his own.
Yeah.
But
well, it is all bold, at least.
Yes.
Which I appreciate that's the fine balance between the two.
Yes, yeah. I mean, I believe that's exactly what he was going for. Or she.
Yeah, the voice.
Well, I never talk with the ominous voice myself, because that voice just creeps me out. Very ominous sounding.
Yeah, it needs to be on the podcast at some point.
Yeah. Well, Jeddy, have you done any, I know you do like editing for the podcast, but do you do any like editing to the point where you make people's voices sound different?
No, not really. I mean,
okay.
The closest that I get is that every once in a while, there will be a time where somebody says something wrong, and I sort of feel bad for them. And I will
like they say Robin Hood came out in 1971 when that's clearly not the case.
No.
Or they pronounce Mario as Mario.
Like, okay, more like they will say like Bobbin Hood. But they will never correct themselves. So there's nothing for me to do where I can like cut out Bobbin Hood and put in Robin Hood.
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
And so what I'll have to do is I'll have to like find a place where they made an sound.
Really?
And like
you go to that much trouble?
I have on occasion, very rarely. What was it? I don't know. There's a few that I'm like really proud of that you cannot tell that they ever said anything wrong. And I just completely changed entire letters or like sounds in general.
See that's why Jeddy is the new podcast, or not new anymore, but that's why Jeddy's the podcast host now. Because neither of the Michaels and me, I don't think any of us would have ever done anything like that.
Well, I'll tell you what I
said
did.
He didn't even really edit it.
What I did was, if something like that happened, I would re-record my dialogue, or if I said something which I thought sounded stupid, I would replace it, but I wouldn't change anybody else's dialogue, which sounded stupid.
Yeah, there's been a couple of times that, Paul, you've said something, and I can't remember what it was. Oh, you said something co-host or something like that, but for whatever reason you pronounced it oddly, and it didn't sound at all like co-host.
Oh,
and
well, that's yeah.
I mean, this is like a while ago, but like I didn't want
my South Jersey slur creeping in.
No, it was like you tried to say two different words for it at the same time, but you never actually.
I've definitely done that.
Yeah, and like.
Well, yeah, because like I start out saying the one word, I'm like, that's not really the word I want to go with, and then I kind of switch. In the middle.
Exactly.
And that's definitely the best way to do it. So.
But like you never corrected yourself, even though like everyone like understood what you were trying to go for. But like I did in fact edit it so that you said co-host, although I had to cut the O out of something else, and then like I faded it in and back out to like match it with the
wow,
that's great.
Because the next time that you said it was like you had said like co-host, but like the next time that you said it was like
jeez, now I just feel terrible. I don't want to do the podcast anymore if I'm going to cause this much grief for you.
So one day Jeddy is just going to make up his own podcast based off the sounds he has from our voices.
Yes.
He's going to make us say horrible, horrible things.
Yes.
There's the April Fool's podcast.
No, that's horrible. No, I was going to give an example with the 999 Q&A video that we posted recently, Paul, that I would switch out entire things of dialogue and replace them. Nobody's going to notice besides for like you two people. It's like,
that's funny.
And you're probably going to barely notice it. You're going to be like, wow, Michael sounds a lot more articulate here than I remember.
What was it? Nathaniel for the D&D cast? Mm-hmm. Like, I recognize that he wrote all this stuff, and he, like, put a lot of effort into, like, making this sound good. So, like, if there were times that he was making like a big exposition section, if he tripped up or something, I don't want him to sound bad. So like I will do my best to edit it and make it sound like he said it perfectly.
Jeddy, the podcast master.
Yeah, podcast commander.
Well, here was my original point I was going to make about changing people's voices.
Oh yes. Were you suggesting that we could make the ominous voice even more ominous sounding with editing?
We could do it with the ominous voice, because that's what I did a couple of times for, and Jody, you've done this a couple of times too, where we do like the Dragon Ball Z announcer, like, next time on the GameCola Podcast.
Yeah.
I actually use Audacity to edit and make my voice sound different, so it literally does sound like a different person who's doing the ending voice.
Oh, no, I've never done that. I just sound like...
Yeah, you just make a funny sounding voice, and everybody can tell it's clearly you.
Yeah.
Actually, at the end of the last D&D casts, it had me so confused. I was like, wow, Nathaniel's doing a good job with this new voice.
Yes, okay.
And
Dude,
it's his wife. Okay.
Like, okay, I had the exact same reaction to it. When I heard it, I was like, wow, Nathaniel can do a really good kid voice. And then, like, 5 minutes later, I was like, oh, he's 6, so he's not doing it. That's what he meant in the email. Like, he said...
Oh, I hope he doesn't listen to this.
No, well, like, I already told him about it.
You sound like a little kid. Okay.
No, hold on. Actually, let me... Oh, no, that's not it. He sent me the file, and... Okay, yeah, you can tell how 6 I am right now. It doesn't even sound like my voice. And I listened to it, and I seriously was like, wow, he does a really good kid voice. And I didn't even, like, it didn't even dawn on me that it was just, his wife doing it. Anyway, yes, I could theoretically. Well, okay, the ominous voice would have to, like, host the podcast, I guess?
Well,
so that I could, like, solo out their voice. Otherwise, if they were talking on top of people, it would get mixed up.
Well, I mean, the ominous voice probably doesn't need any artificial enhancements. I mean, where do you think he got the name?
True.
Mm-hmm. Well, there are 2 ways you could go about it in Audacity, which is, one... Actually, there are 3 different ways you can go about it to making a voice sound more ominous. One, you get down the speed, so you make it slower.
Yeah.
It's like the opposite of doing the chipmunk voices, basically. One is you add like a minor echo to it.
Yeah.
The other is you shift the pitch.
Well, the thing is that, like, if 2 people are talking at the same time, it's going to apply to both.
Yeah, so that's why you would have to do something like whoever is the ominous voice, you want to have their dialogue separate.
Yeah.
Well, like, if they were to be the host for the call, or I guess if they're just recording or whatever, but they are the one that's separate from everybody else, so I could technically do that.
Yeah.
So anyway...
Just a little behind-the-scenes information. I actually did that to do the Disneyland voice for the person who does the Disneyland conductor.
Oh, yeah?
Because he does the echo. That's the echo sound effect to make the voice sound artificially deeper. Just a little fun fact.
Okay, continuing from the same email, that was part 1 that we talked about for the last half hour.
Whoops.
What do you think about fan fiction for video games? Positive response or negative?
Positive.
Yeah, I don't see why not.
I'm going to look it up right now, because I mentioned this on my blog and nobody liked it at all. But let's see what the top 10 most popular games are to write fan fiction for.
Animorphs.
You guys ready for this?
Gilmore Girls?
No. Gilmore Girls. Is that a TV show? I can look up.
It's a TV show, yeah.
I can look up how popular Gilmore Girls is. If you really, really want to.
No,
I know
it's
Buffy
fine.
is number 3. Gilmore Girls is in the top 15.
Yeah.
Hey!
Is it number 15?
No, it's got 16,000 different.
Wow.
Right behind Stargate Atlantis and right before Degrassi, which is, I think, a Canadian show.
Yeah, wait, wasn't that on fake Nickelodeon?
It is on Teen Nick. It airs right in front of the 90s or all that block.
There you go.
Top 10 video games. Kingdom Hearts comes in first.
Yeah.
Then Pokemon.
Okay.
Well,
Final
Kingdom
Fan-
Hearts, that's cheating, though.
7.
That's just Disney fan fiction.
No.
Like,
Well-
the game itself is Disney fan fiction with a Mary Sue.
No, I've definitely heard people or seen, like, fan fictions that are about, like, the Heartless and stuff and whatever.
Ugh.
Yeah, I
sorry.
think most of these, I'm looking at Kingdom Hearts right now, and all the characters they select as the main characters, nobody ever picks like the Disney characters.
Okay.
So I'm seeing Vanitas, Sona, Roxas, Zion, Axel,
Oh, those are all the crappy characters.
Aqua, and Vanit. Yeah, okay, so that's 25 different
I'll tell you
fanfics
a
I
bullet.
scrolled through. Not a single one with the Disney character as the main character.
Okay.
Anyway, Kingdom Hearts with 67,000.
Sorry.
Then Pokemon with 55,000. Final Fantasy VII, 37,000.
Cool.
Wow. Followed by Sonic the Hedgehog, then Legend of Zelda, Final Fantasy VIII,
Oh,
Dragon Age, Mass Effect, Resident Evil, Harvest Moon.
right.
And that's like all the different Harvest Moons put together. Super Smash Brothers.
Oh,
Okay.
Which is just, I've read some Super Smash Brothers fan fiction before. It's kind of crazy. Fire Emblem, Tales of Symphonia, Halo, Mario finally shows up. Final Fantasy X, which I think is 10.
Yeah.
Mega Man, Phoenix Wright, Warcraft, Assassin's Creed, Devil May Cry, Elder Scroll, and Star Wars, and let's stop there.
Star Wars?
Star Wars, yeah. So that'd be 3,000. Yeah, we'll stop.
This is like
the cutoff is like 4,000.
fan fiction of Shadows of the Empire for N64?
I don't know. It just says Star Wars, and
Alright, see, I think someone's padding their fanfiction.net numbers here by posting it both under Star Wars the movie and Star Wars the video game.
it's got a list here. Star Wars includes The Force Unleashed, The Old Republic,
Okay.
Republic Commando, SWTOR, and Connect Star Wars.
I'm sorry. Connect Star Wars fanfiction?
See how many are
Okay.
Connect.
No, please, I know we've been podcast for a while. I need you to click that link and just describe any of the fanfics on there.
There's only one.
Okay?
It is written by Hockey. It is called A Connection to the Force.
well,
Written June 2010, starring Darth Vader, 864 words.
Wait,
There's no way that
2010?
game is
The
that
game
old.
just came out this year.
Really? It's a
Yeah.
parody / humor.
The game just came out.
It was published. The Jedi was confused.
I think it's someone's padding their numbers here.
Okay, yeah, this is just somebody making fun of the entire game.
Wow.
And he gets killed by the Red Ring of Death at the end.
Okay.
but I think we are all positive for fan fiction
Well-
for video games.
We're a little biased considering we are also all the stars of our very own fan fiction that was posted on GameCola, Turnabout Cola.
True.
Yeah. But I think it's kind of, I would say, unfair that, how they classify these. I mean, like, Mega Man, that's every single Mega Man game put together. Mario's every Mario game put together. Harvest Moon is every Harvest Moon put together. Final Fantasy is the only one which is important enough to have separate things for each of the games. And even then, it's Final Fantasy 1 through 6. They all get lumped together, and then there it's 7, 8, 9, so on.
Interesting.
I think it's just a little weird how they classify video game fan fiction.
Yeah. Anyway, back to the email. Okay, that's all I've got. Bye, Anna.
Oh wait, that wasn't sent by the ominous voice?
No.
Sorry, I just naturally assumed.
You just naturally assumed that only the anonymous voice would want to talk about?
No. I naturally assumed that that's something the ominous voice would be asking about.
Oh.
Oh, the Nancy Drew series says 77. Wow, Nancy Drew, though, is like probably number 300 on the list. Poor Nancy Drew. How does Bust a Move have more fan fictions than Nancy Drew? This is not fair. We're going to have to correct this right now.
Oh.
Everybody listening, just write your own Nancy Drew fanfic and post it. Okay, Nancy Drew is number 244. Ouch.
There are 25 solitaire fanfics.
Are 95 Minesweeper fanfics. It is number 219.
What about your
Tied with
Life
Drawn
as a
to
card isn't easy, so I quit. I'm done.
What about your Pong erotic fan fiction that you posted a while ago?
God. Oh, I never posted that to fanfiction.net.
No?
Pong
I'm sorry.
is number 195 on the list with 122
Wait.
fanfics. There are 122 fanfics about Pong.
Wow.
This is a fun game. I like this.
Wow, and it's let me see, it's right behind Radiata Stories. I don't know what that is.
That's a game. Oh, there's no Lifeline fan fiction?
There is no Lifeline fan fiction?
There is not. How about Curiosity? Oh man, I gotta get on that one.
Wait, My Candy Love has beaten out what is My Candy Love? I haven't heard of this series.
I don't know.
It sounds like it's not safe for work.
It sounds like a game Matt Jonas would review.
What about the game that you recently sent to Christian Porter?
I might have to draw a line and say we cannot talk about that game on the podcast.
Yes.
It's getting into goofy movie territory.
There's 3 fan fictions for Guess Who.
So are we ready for the next email?
There's 3 fan fictions for Ice Climber.
Wait, what about Balloon Fight?
2 for Narc. None for Balloon Fight.
Oh, you need to get on that.
Okay, I guess I should force myself to close this so we can get to the next email.
Okay, the next.
No. Let's keep reading about fan fiction.
When are we doing our next spin-off podcast where we read people's fan fiction?
I don't know. Let's get moving on.
Jeddy, was there another email?
Yes. Poddits and Redcasts. Hello, hilarious hunters of hackneyed and hokey humor who heave hope to hundreds of huddled habitues.
What was that last word?
Habitues.
Never heard of it before. Sounds like an imaginary word you'd use in a game of Words with Friends.
I don't know, let's go look it up.
On the Words with Friends dictionary?
No, on Wiktionary.
Oh.
I don't know if there is a Words with Friends dictionary. Maybe there is. Habitues.
I presume it comes from, habitus, meaning place where somebody lives.
Plural form of...
Solitaire fanfiction has 3 chapters.
That's the longest one.
One who frequents a place, a denizen or regular, a devotee.
Ooh.
So, ahem. You all do such an excellent job with podcasts. I was wondering how each of you handle the idea. What do you do to prepare for a podcast, and what do you think makes a good podcast in general, not just for GameCola? We've heard the technical side of Jeddy's work a bit, but if there are any tidbits you could share, I think they'd be very interesting. It's part 1.
Well, I prepared with playing the My Little Pony game and just thinking up interesting topics while I was coming up with that. So, I had like 5 different points of how those freemium games can rip you off.
Yes.
I mean, that wasn't all me coming up with it off the top of my head. That was some forethought.
Usually when Jeddy is doing the introductions, I'm furiously writing down all of the video games I've played recently.
Yeah, I actually, I used to write down notes on, receipts in the, 5 minutes before the podcast, or, while I was waiting for Skype to load and stuff. But I don't do that anymore. I just kind of come into it going, oh, wait, there was a podcast today.
There actually is a trick I have used in the past for any newbie podcasters out there.
Yeah.
One thing, when I've listened to the episodes of our podcast that I am not in, I very oftentimes find myself going, there's something I wanted to say to that, but I can't because it's not a live recording. But I found that if I start listening to these podcasts and kind of getting myself into the mood, in the right mindset, like a half hour before I start recording, it helps me talk more effectively during the episode because I'm already there. I'm already ready to respond to things.
Actually, we kind of do that in the D&D cast before.
Really?
Yeah, at the beginning of every session, Nathaniel will usually be like, okay, so...
Recap?
Well, no, more like, okay, so you guys are in a cave, and then, oh no, a lion pops out, or something. And we'll all have to actually, play a very brief
he'll
little...
do, a little, tutorial level kind of thing, just to get everyone revved up.
Yeah, because,
Oh, that's great, because I don't understand how combat works at all in Dungeons & Dragons.
This was mostly... the very first session that we did was very slow. Whenever Nathaniel would be like, so, what do you want to do? There would be, 30 full seconds of silence. And then finally he would be like, there are some people around you that you could talk to, and so the second time, and from then on, he started doing a little, exercise, I guess, role-playing exercise of sorts, to get you into it. And I guess you can do the same thing for getting yourself thinking about topics in general.
Mm-hmm. Well, I think, too, when we gather on Skype to record standard podcast, there's always a good, 10 minutes where we're getting our pre-podcast jitters out, just kind of talking about whatever's on our mind.
Yeah.
And I think...
This time where we spent a whole lot of actual potential podcast topics before the podcast started.
But I mean, I think that, again, I think that helps get everyone revved up and get everyone in the right mindset, warm everyone up, whatever car-related metaphors I can come up with, because apparently that's my thing in this 10-second span of time.
Yes.
Clearly, I'm running out of gas.
Whoa.
Well, maybe you should kick it into a higher gear, Paul.
Put the pedal to the metal.
Mm-hmm. Seriously, you have that much trouble coming up with car similes, metaphors?
The podcast is like a car.
Jeddy is the driver, and
Paul and Michael are
You'd
just
like to
along
be a
for the ride.
backseat driver.
yes,
Yeah.
Well, no, I guess, okay, if Paul and Michael are just along for a ride, that's more of a metaphor, whereas Jeddy is like the driver is a simile. Okay.
Any other podcast tips and tricks?
We have the podcast pile, which is basically a pre-compiled list of topics that we go to whenever we don't have a topic to talk about.
Yeah.
And we used to have themes on the podcast, didn't we?
Yeah, that kind of failed miserably because no one
I wouldn't say failed miserably.
failed spectacularly.
It wasn't a great fit for the type of podcast we're doing, I think.
And it also doesn't really fit, I guess, our specialties, because it would often be like, let's talk about 3D games. Today we have Michael Gray and Paul Franzen. None of us own 3D games.
Well, I think that's part of like a unique challenge of our specific podcast, because people who only listen to our podcast might not realize this, but most podcasts don't have different people in each episode. It's like the same people. Like we have kind of a rotating cast of whoever on the GameCola staff shows up.
Yeah.
Wants to talk about things. So it's hard to say, okay, on this episode we're all talking about, like you were saying, 3D games, because it's possible that the people who showed up that day aren't really experts on 3D games.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, Colin and I will show up, and we have nothing in common.
So, like, if you have the same people showing up each time, it's easier for everyone to get on the same page, I think, and find something that you all are interested in talking about and can talk about.
Yeah. So, okay, next part of the email. Also, thoughts on Reddit. It's a thing with stuff and
Never
video
heard of it.
games, sometimes video games. Reddit.
Is that... No, wait, was that in the email, or was that you commenting?
This was all the email.
Okay, so Reddit.
Reddit. Reddit.
Okay.
It's a website where people post links and you click on them.
I've never actually been there. I've just heard a lot about it, apparently.
I'm not sure I like this.
No? The only thing that I know about it is that...
Wow, this is weird.
Is it?
Okay. Yeah, so it's just a bunch of links, really? Okay.
I mean, that's pretty much what it is. A lot of pictures, sometimes discussions. Like sometimes celebrities will go on and do what's known as an Ask Me Anything, which people go on and ask them questions. And then
Do they ask them anything?
You can ask them anything. I don't know if they'll answer anything though.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, my very limited experience with Reddit has been using it to try to get clicks over to GameCola by sharing our own links, and it's generally been ineffective, unfortunately.
I don't really know much about Reddit.
Yeah, I think that about covers it, though. And I don't know what's the other thing people do. Tumblr? I don't get that at all.
I've recently...
it's Twitter, but bigger, right?
It's weird.
It looks
or
like
isn't it LiveJournal 2.0?
Yes,
maybe?
okay.
Yeah,
all the people who...
LiveJournal broken, yeah.
Yeah, okay, like...
Broken LiveJournal?
Effectively,
so it's dead journal.
The kinds of people who liked LiveJournal are the kinds of people who like Tumblr now, basically.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
But like, okay, all of the like fangirls and stuff, like those types, they were big on LiveJournal, and like certain communities of that sort of thing, they are now on Tumblr, is my experience. And I don't know, to me it's really weird, the concept of reblogging. No one posts original content. It's all just people passing around the same thing, but it's posted on your blog, not like as if you had done it, but like it's not like on Facebook where you share something with your friends. It's just like, this is a post on my blog that I got from somewhere else.
Well, that's like retweeting, no?
Yeah, except that it's like the primary form of doing stuff. Like on Twitter, you will post like, oh, I ate a really good burger today, or like, oh, I just got to work, or like, hey, I don't know, I hate this game. And then like you might retweet something that Barack Obama said or whatever, Whereas on Tumblr, all it is like, I'm reblogging this cat picture, I'm really blogging this picture of Thor from the Avengers. I'm reblogging this picture of Harry Potter. Or like, I'm reblogging.
Are we just like too old to get this stuff? Is that the problem?
I don't know.
I think that's it.
Your Tumblrs, your Reddits,
watching
your Pinterests. I don't know what Pinterest is.
Actually, okay, I was talking with
Are you a Pinny?
I'm not. I've never been to Pinterest. But I was talking about this recently with a friend of mine that like, okay, in our era, we had websites like Amazon or LiveJournal or...
Amazon. It was a bookseller.
Yeah, they sold books only. And I remember being very confused when I found out you could buy other stuff there. But now, or you have Image Shack or whatever. But now you have Flickr and Tumblr and Twitter and like all these kind of like made up words. Now, imagine 100 years from now, someone trying to make a new website.
There will be no vowels left.
Yeah, like...
yeah.
.com. Like the silly names that are made up now. Well, like, what was it? I think what actually spawned me thinking about this topic was Mixlr, the thing that we were talking about, Paul.
Yeah, it's a website Jenny and I are looking into for streaming live podcasts.
Yeah, like Mixlr. That's not a word. And like, I remember...
One who mixels.
I don't know. You get all of these like .tk, remember when that was popular? Websites that were like whatever .tk, because they basically ran out of .coms. So what's going to happen to the internet in 100 years when no one can...
Well, I was just more worried about the fact that, you know, me trying to find a YouTube screen name, it's like, okay, the only Michael Gray available is Michael Gray 1049996.
Well, like, imagine that 100 years from now, like, your...
My great-great-grandchildren, it's like, what?
Yeah, what is my name going to be?
So at some point, someone's going to have to invent an email service besides Gmail.
Or they're going to have to learn how to kill inactive accounts.
If you guys watch Futurama, there was an early episode where they were trying to come up with a name for their product. And they're like, what names aren't copyrighted now in the year 3000?
Oh yeah, I seem to recall an episode where they're playing a sports team, but all the numbers have been retired, the full number, so somebody had to be like 3.5.
No, what was it? The only names that hadn't been copyrighted were like Testicles and Poplars. Anyway, the email continues. I shall also name an obscure game to help facilitate the theme. Magical Quest, starring Mickey Mouse. Thanks, Joe Reviewer.
Is that the awesome one where you can dress up as a fireman?
I think, isn't this one that you reviewed, Michael Gray? Or did you do a Inside the Guide about it?
No, never heard of it.
Really, Magical Quest starring Mickey Mouse?
Nope.
Oh, interesting.
It's the Super Nintendo one where
yeah, I don't have a Super Nintendo.
Mickey has a variety of costumes that you collect throughout the game to take on and off and solve different puzzles. Like Fireman Mickey, Mountain Climbing Mickey, I think.
I don't know.
That's all I got. It's a shame we don't have Stu Gipp right here because he is the Mickey Man fanatic of the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
So are we done with this podcast yet?
I'm really running out of gas.
No, I mean
I'm just gonna have to coast from here, I think.
Yes. Just put it into neutral. Never mind.
Maybe I need to hitch a ride to the end of this podcast.
Housekeeping.
Okay.
Does this podcast have breaks?
Gotta put the brakes on this. Put it into part.
So you've been listening to us for
last 2 hours.
A good while now. Everyone who's listening at home, I want you to go on twitter.com, follow us there. We are at GameCola. You can also follow us on Facebook. Just search for GameCola. We have a YouTube channel. It's gc.net, the letters GC and the words dot and net. You can also visit our actual internet website. It's gamecola.net. We are all writers for there. So you should, actually check it out. That's why we do this podcast. The whole GameCola universe kind of revolves around this website. So you should check it out. You may be listening to this podcast on our YouTube channel or our website. We're also available on iTunes. So subscribe, rate us high.
Yes. If you don't like us, then we're not on iTunes.
Yep. What's iTunes? If you'd like to be featured on the GameCola podcast, there's a couple ways you can do that. You saw we were reading listener mail. If you want to have your own mail read, email us at podcast@gamecola.net. And if you want to make a special guest appearance on the podcast, add this username to your Skype friends list. Alex-Jed. If you don't have Skype, download Skype. It's free. What are you waiting for, you big goof?
Yes.
Good luck.
Add
Alex, ALEX-JED.
Add him on, and if you ever see him online, bug him, because he's probably doing the podcast.
Yeah, I pretty much never log on except for the podcast.
So that's it.
Okay, well, that was podcast 56, everyone. Thank you for listening.
Next time we'll have podcast 57.
Whoa!
Whoa, dude! The dude phone suddenly rang, interrupting their discussion. Stryker picked it up. Yo, dude. The voice came through on the line. Dude, you dudes are so bad. You saved the president. We love you, dudes. Stryker hung up the phone. Haha, we're always getting calls from fans.